Hey, this is Wendy, and I'm glad that you clicked on this link to hear more about my favorite keys to success. I'll call my 6 keys to success. And as I've looked at people that are very successful and wealthy, I've seen some common patterns, and those are very well known type of patterns that you will see in people that are really successful. So here's the 6 keys that I've seen to success. The first one is you've got to have a strong why. So, why are you on my website? Why have you come to learn more about lease options or subject tos or creative seller financing and real estate investing? When I ask that in an audience, most people will say, well, of course, Wendy, it's the money. We want the money. And I said, that's great, but why? Why do you want the money? Because unless you know what you're going to do with that money and why you need that money, it's not going to be enough to drive you to success. You see, it's not strong enough. So your why must be really strong. And, as an example, one of my friends, she's one of my students. She's in the Nashville area, Nashville, Tennessee. She made over $1 million doing real estate investing because she had a very strong why. Her niece was very sick. It was her favorite niece. She never had children of her own, and she made over $1 million to help this niece because this niece had cancer. And her $1 million did not save her niece, but what it did do is give her niece the best chance of survival, the best medical care, the best things that money could buy during that time that she was suffering and dying. And because that was a very, very strong why for my student there in Nashville. And that's really important. You've got to have a strong enough why. Now, yours may not be that unusual or that traumatic even. Maybe it's to leave your job or, to have financial freedom or something like that. For me, that's my why. I want financial freedom. I don't have to worry about anything because I love to travel. That's one of my strong whys. I want to see the entire world, and in order to do that, I've got to have some money. So that's my strong why. Not because, for me, it's not to have a great house, although I do have a great house, and I like having a great house, don't get me wrong. But if I had to move to something very small and different, as long as it's clean and nice, I'd be okay. In other words, that's not my big why. I don't need a big fancy car. I would much rather have some other things that are more important to me. So you got to have a strong why. Another friend of mine always says, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's probably not strong enough. So think about that. Number 2, you've got to have no excuses. There's just so many excuses. Some of you have heard my story before, and I talk about the excuses that I had early on. I had no money. I didn't make a lot of money. I was in debt, and I was very young, so I thought all of those things would keep me from investing. And luckily, I had someone in my local real estate investor group who said, that's just, okay, we understand that's your situation, but those aren't excuses. Because, 99% of all failures come from people who have a habit of making excuses. So George Washington Carver says. You see, he's a guy that came up with 325 uses for the peanut. If you have never heard his story before, you should definitely research it. Brilliant, brilliant man, and full of wisdom. But I really agree with this because, there's so many people that you'll see that might make excuses. And you'll see some people that have been held back in life, and you're wondering, why them? And yet they blame everybody. Well, my parents did this when I was young, or my parents didn't do that when I was young, or my boss fired me last week because of blah, 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 but not them. It's never them. You see, I can tell you personally, my husband and I have lost a tremendous amount of money in real estate when the market tanked. Now, I can't blame that on the market tanking. It's just what happened. So what am I going to do about it? Whine and cry and throw my hands up and give up and blame everybody else, or just get down and get busy and figure out how to make it work now that the market values have tanked? What am I going to do about that? And that's the key thing is, what can we do about that? And this is something we probably all struggle with at some point in our life, trying to make excuses and blame other people. But if you really want to be successful, you want to really look at that in your own life and consider that. One of my favorite books is a book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's awesome, and he talks about really taking full responsibility for your life and your circumstances and that we are where we are because we've chosen to be there. Now, you may not think that's true, but he goes into the detail of why that is true. and it's very insightful and really helped me think about my own personal life and really looking at how I can take full responsibility for everything in my life. Even though I didn't cause everything in my life, I choose how to react to everything that happened in my life and what else I can do about it. So really, really great book to read. Number 3, you got to have desire. Obviously, you have desire for this business because you're, listening to this right now. You've been going through my email series on teaching you about investing. You've also got to have directions. I call it the GPS. It's very important that we have the right directions for what we're doing in real estate. And it's very, very important. I'm cracking up. I'm looking at that little GPS. My daughter helped me put this together, and I noticed how she put the Brooklyn Bridge there. Her name, she goes by Brooklyn. Oh, that's cute. Anyways, I didn't realize she had put that on there until just now. It's the first time I've noticed that. But anyways, directions are really, really important. You see, there's always steps of how you're going to get from point A to point B. And typically, we want to start where you are, and you might want to end up, your why is maybe financial freedom, but, there's certain steps to get to financial freedom, and there's some easy ways, and there's some difficult ways, and then most people give up. They never even get to financial freedom because they give up before that. So there's some real simple steps and directions that you can go through, and I'll be sharing more of those throughout this email series with you as you go along, but you definitely want to have the right directions. You wouldn't want these heart surgeon operating on you without good directions on how to do that. You got to have the right tools. This is very, very important that you have the right tools. Now, look, if you want to do lease options, you should buy my course. It's the best course in the industry. If you want to do short sales, you should go find the best short sale course by someone who's still doing the business today and active in real estate investing and knows what they're doing. If you want to do rehabbing, same kind of thing. So it doesn't matter what kind of, investing you want to do, you want to find the right course for that. And here's a copy, here's just a picture of my library, part of it, my bookshelf, some of my favorite books. You can see actually Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, are right there. And then a lot of my real estate investing courses also, and I have even additional courses aren't even showing in that library. Now, I didn't start out when I was 21 years old with real estate investing and had that whole library. It's been built up over time because I'm not an expert in every area of real estate, nor will I ever be an expert in all real estate investing. So I go to other experts who are, because I want the best tools in order to go after particular types of investing when those opportunities arise. And number 6, you got to take action now. Smart and successful people take action now and in the present moment. So, that's a really key thing. Successful investors don't wait around to think about whether they should make an offer or not or go look at a property. They get to it. They have a motivated seller. They go out and look at the property. They take action now. And when they've got the right opportunity in front of them, they take action. Hopefully that's helped you out and you've enjoyed the 6 keys to success. More to come in the next few emails.